caused some confusion because they weren't sure who would accept the result, and if Hagler was to win, whether he would be stripped of his titles, but that's hardly likely, bearing in mind his dominance. Hagler came to this defence unbeaten for 7 years. That's a remarkable and powerful record, and his opponent, Wilford Scypion, had 29 fights, and 3 of these he'd lost. Well, the fight occurred last night at Providence in Rhode Island, and the crowd in the Civic Centre giving a very partisan welcome to Hagler. It's very close to his hometown of Boston. As this menacing figure moves to the ring, let's join our commentator, Reg Guthridge.
You'll notice on his way to the ring now, Hagler, he'll hardly look either way. He'll ignore everybody, just total single purpose, as he calls it, destroy and destruct. Such a different character off stage, Marvin Hagler. Very genial type of fella and very lucid, but when he's ready for a fight, he doesn't want to know about any slaps on the back, as he's getting there. Let's get down to work. And now he's going to climb those stairs, make his entrance to the cheers. And just giving half a show of the famous shaven head. Wilford Scypion from Port Arthur, Texas, which is actually on the border of Louisiana. So Scypion, in fact, is a Cajun Indian name. And there you are, a close-up of lacing up the 8-ounce gloves on Hagler there, the man really with much on his mind. The fans make such a hero of him now, they expect heroism from him. That nose of Scypion's has taken a few punches in its time. Well, there was a glaring technique at the weigh-in. I suspect we're going to get it again here, but the Rhode Island Commission said we're not wasting too much time with that. Frank Copacino from Pennsylvania is the referee. So the champion Hagler recovered from a left knee injury that put the fight back a couple of weeks. And Wilford Scypion from Texas, a tough nut in his way, and most of the critics around here think that this fight could go a long way. It's scheduled for 15 rounds because they've now said the USBA, the United States Boxing International, is going to recognize this fight with the Rhode Island Racing and Athletic Commission, would you believe, are in charge, more or less ignoring the WBCs, WBAs. The answer is we and the rest of the crowd here know who's champion, and whoever wins this fight is the middleweight champion of the world. Hagler saying he hasn't had any twinge of trouble in the knee since he was wearing heavy combat boots, road running, and probably overdid it, he said, and then went to an orthopedic surgeon, and he said, "You've got to rest it for a couple of weeks." Really is a glutton for training, Hagler. So Wilford Scypion actually got into the #1 spot, and deservedly so, when he defeated Frank the Animal Fletcher, when it was already advertised that Fletcher was going to fight Hagler for the championship. This fellow really spoiled the script on that one, so he has to be a good fighter to have defeated Fletcher. Bit of controversy at the start when Mike Jones, the manager of Scypion, asked if he could change the referee. He said, "I don't question his integrity at all, but he does tend to part the boxers too quickly, and my fellow wants to be fighting, as I say in the trade, on the inside." So that was overruled, and I thought rightly so, by the Rhode Island Commission. Hagler doesn't take stock very much. He usually gets his punches off to try and establish a bit of authority in the opening round. Scypion's been around on the circuit with some tough fellows in his time. I don't really think he's got any fear in his heart. He certainly has talked a good fight before the off. Oh, well, he's got to talk a good one now, because Hagler's not messing about with him if he catches up with him. With 19 seconds to go in the opening round, remember, if a boxer goes down at the bell, the rules here say that the count will continue. He really got himself warmed up in the dressing room, Hagler, here, to let his punches go right at the off. He's quite needled with this fellow. He almost admitted that. Well, I think Scypion there is pleased to hear the sound of that first round bell. A little bit of overconfidence he was caught with there. Now he says, no, I'm okay. You could almost read his lips.
Standing back waiting on him. You can't stand back and wait on this guy. Shit, hey, you can't fight inside.
You can hear what the seconds are saying. Probably there, you can't stand back and wait on this guy. Have a look at replay, what happened there. Close in, Hagler, and that left hook, it almost dumped him. And what a sensation that would have been. And again, from the top view, there it is, got his head down, Hagler, and then unleashes the left hook. So round two, and Scypion, having taken that left hook, come up early for work. And he knows he has got to crowd Hagler. That's Scypion's style. But I often wonder, I think probably only the hit-and-run boxer type have really got the best chance with him. Because Hagler can vary his style. He can fight when you want to box, and he can box when you want to fight. Carrying a scar of battle over his right eye there, Hagler, when he was butted, he said, by Mustafa Hamsho, a fight that was covered, in fact, on World of Sport. I think there was as much surprise as pain in the punch on Scypion's face when he was tagged with that left hook, but what a good shot it was. It's the speed that Hagler throws him. Remember, they haven't really picked the Scypion out of the crowd, as it were. He's had to work his way to get to this top spot. 29 fights. He's won 26, Scypion. But you are watching a master craftsman at work, and a bit of a painful puncher, aren't you? Midway and only the second round. And this, as sharp as I've seen Hagler, and I've seen all his championship fights, he looked tremendous when he defeated England's Tony Simpson. But it looks like Mr. Scypion at this stage is made to measure for the Southpaw champ. Well, that's it. When he crowds inside Scypion, he's a little bit useful and a bit dangerous. This is American-style infighting at his best here. And the referee trying to keep away from them after the objections from Scypion's camp not to fall break too quickly. Really is rough inside work, those punches at close quarters to the ribs. A great condition these fellows must be in. Look at those muscles bulging. I swear that Hagler's got muscles on his ears. Good profile there of Scypion's nose. It really has tasted a bit of leather in its time. So the referee's given them plenty of leeway at close quarters at the end of the second. Well, there you are, the top view there, and certainly Hagler really fired up again. This fellow's got so much pride, apart from the millions of dollars that he's making. You know, he came from the asphalt jungles in Newark, New Jersey, and he's made the game.
People on your side.
And this boy's a millionaire, and he just loves the whole thing. Well, I wonder what's going through this fellow's mind. Round 3. And it's as fierce as middleweight championship fight, really, that you could see. There's been no messing around, no research periods, no scouting missions by Hagler. He's really got his punches off point.
Now throw one at a time. Come on.
Scypion been around in the amateur ranks a long time. He had, would you believe, 217 unpaid fights and won 206 of them. His long arms of Hagler as well, apart from the power. When he lets punches go, he can reach parts of the body that others can't reach by the look of it. He won the American AAU Championship at the same meeting that Sugar Ray Leonard was beaten by Randy Shields, so he knows a bit about the boxing game, apart from being such a strong puncher, such an accurate puncher. That's his real technique. Scypion's job now is to try and rough the champion up. Hanshaw did a little bit and cut Hagler. But I tell you, this fellow's got such a variety of punches. It's incredible. Hooks, uppercuts, straight shots. Wearing 8-ounce gloves, they would normally be wearing 10. But the newly formed commission said we're going back to 8. And really the sweat bouncing off of these couple of rough gladiators. Tuned so fit there, they really are. It's quite frightening when these fellas are in such great condition like this. There it is. Now, how do you get out of the way of that when he leads with the unorthodox right-hand lead, and you never know when the next one's coming in? He can change his mind midway with a punch, Hagler, and still get away with it. As Alan Minter certainly knows, and so does Tony Simpson. He took the World Championship from Alan Minter in London. Well, certainly, Scypion is not going to be found wanting when it comes to a bit of courage and having a go. But at the moment, he's not sure on how to cope with Hagler. I've often thought if I was a second in the corner opposing Hagler, I'd just have to say, well, look out, pal, here he comes as the bell goes. Coming up then to the end of round 3. So there's the split screen version now of these seconds, really working on these fellas.
You act like this guy's your daddy or something. Nothing, it's nothing.
Well, it's all very well second saying you're shy. Oh, too much respect, a little bit of decoration interfering with the words of wisdom there.
You got a little bit of nick.
There it is, Kenny Weldon and Mike Jones, the manager.
Shut up, Mike. Hey, bend your legs some and bomb this guy, okay? Come on, get your hands back high.
Let's have a look at replay from the overhead camera there. Just cuffing him around the ears there. And the one through the middle did the damage. Great uppercut puncher, Hagler. Fourth round. Hagler on top, picking his punches beautifully, and Scypion's cornermen trying to urge him on by saying, don't show too much respect for this fellow. Well, I'm afraid if it was me, I'd show all the respect in the world, because he is an outstanding champion. Hagler admitted to me before the fight, he said, this fellow Scypion's got a little bit of me in him. He's got the hunger of success. and I really can't let him take the championship away, because I do respect the fellow who's trying to take the championship from me. But there seemed to be a dislike between them. I dare say they'd be old mates when it's all over and have a count-up.
Okay, don't just stop punching and step back. Come on. Come on, roll him out.
Doesn't call break the referee. He says, okay, stop punching and step back. It's a bit confusing, really. These fighters, they sometimes don't want to hear what the referee said. Now, watch that right-hand lead uppercut that Hagler uses. It's difficult to tell whether Scipion's bruised around the face. He's puffing up already, but he came in with a fairly flat nose. It's amazing, really, how Hagler can take punches on those large biceps of his. I think the other fellow wears himself down a bit, hitting Hagler's body. I don't think he was really winking to anybody at the ringside, Hagler. That's not his style. Just wondering whether he caught a punch in the eye there. Well, the challenger's having a go. I always give full credit for that. But then he puts him in his place again, Hagler, doesn't he? What a workman. Oh, and is he going to get up from this? It was just a controlled flurry of punches, and I don't think this fellow's going to make it. He's made no attempt, and the doctor's already got up on the ring apron. Is it going to be a formality of a count-out? Yes, it is in the fourth round. And it was the people at the back of the hall probably wonder what was happening, because Scypion was doing quite well at that point. And then suddenly the end came. Well, in a way, I think Hagler was a bit surprised the way that went over. Now, this fellow's already got 3 belts, WBC, WBA, the Ring Magazine, and now the USBA International are going to present him with a ring to wear. Well, this Scypion, known for his durability, but, you know, when you step out of your class, it's not going to help you in any way. Well, he permits himself a smile, doesn't he, Marvin Hagler? Let's now have a look at the replay of this finish now. You can see at this point that Scypion saying, hello, what's happening here? I don't really want to cope with this. Top of the head, that will dull his mind a little bit. And as he falls in, they don't really look like such powerful punches, but he took them and I didn't. And then from another angle, he's got him where he wants him there, Hagler, dropping his hands. And by this point, he's almost made up his mind that he can't win this fight, Scypion. And as he falls in, that's it. It's all over. It was strictly a flurry of punches. The top shot might show us another angle of a punch. That side of the head there, they stun a boxer. He must have hands like bolts, Hagler.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner by a knockout in the 4th round and still undisputed middleweight champion of the world, marvelous Marvin Hagler.
And so as Hagler takes his applause, let's go over to my colleague Larry Merchant in the ring.
Marvin Hagler, looks like you've conquered New England as well as you have Wilford Scypion again. You came out a little faster than you usually do, I thought.
Yeah, well, I had to against an opponent like him. You know, he's very aggressive. I caught him with a couple good shots. I thought I was really going to have to work the whole 15. That's why I worked that body so hard, because it has to pay off for me. I felt him started slowing down a little bit, and I was ready. But first of all, I'd like to say hello to my son in New Jersey, Gentry. Monk, Daddy, love you very much. Also, I'd like to thank God for giving me the gift of my boxing, also the courage and the strength and the confidence.
Marvin, every fighter you come in looks back at the first Vito Antuofermo fight and says, if I put pressure on Marvin Hagler, I can do what Antuofermo did.
Exactly. They're going to find. I told you, Antuofermo just had a style that he got away from me the first time in a sense, but the second time I was ready to put Antuofermo's lights out for good. They were smart on stopping him. I'd like to thank also all my sparring partners who helped me prepare for this fight, and all the people down in my Provincetown camp.
Marvin, he was coming to you, which meant he was really trying to win the fight. He wasn't trying to dance away from you or stay away from you.
No,
Did you see that right away?
Well, we figured that he couldn't change his style. I knew he couldn't outbox me. He could only be aggressive the way that we knew. I started trading punches with him, which my trainer told me I don't need to. I'm more class than this guy. I got more guns to go with, and I started seeing it, started settling down, and started looking for my spots. Start picking my spots.
In a moment, we'll come up with a replay of the knockout and ask you to describe it for us, Marvin.
I remember what it was.
Here it is.
I thought my straight left hand, which we've been practicing all the time, coming back with that right hook. I think I shook him up. There's my left hand again. Come back with the right hook again. I think this is what it was now, to put them together. You see that everybody looks for my right hand, and I can put you away with my left. Either hand's are dangerous.
Here's another angle, Marvin.
There's the straight left hand. Just glimpsed him, but it knocked him off balance and set him up for me.
I thought the right hand coming right here.
The left really was staggered him right there. And crumbled. That's the way I wanted him, down at my feet. He had a big mouth, and that's the way he deserved to be. I don't know. I was thinking about retiring this fight here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a lot of thought. I want to take some time off and go over with my family what they think is best for me, and also my manager and trainer, because I felt as though that I didn't beat everybody out there, and I don't want to be a stepping stone for anybody.
This talk of retiring is something very, very new. I thought, first of all, that you were in line to fight Juan Roldan, the #1 WBA contender, sometimes in July.
Well, what I'm going to do, like I said, I'm seriously thinking about it, retirement and everything. Like I said, I didn't beat everybody. There's always going to be another opponent out there. They haven't paid me the money that I really deserve, so, you know, if I can get out with my health and start a business or whatever,
well, you made
I'm very happy.
You made $1.25 million tonight as a total purse. That doesn't seem like a bad payday. But beyond that, Marvin, I once heard you say to Sugar Ray Leonard, let's get it on, Ray. We'll bring out the best in each other.
That's right.
Don't you hope there's somebody out there that can bring out the best in you?
Well, you know, they're not bringing the money with them.
But what about Benitez and Hearns?
I challenged Benitez. I challenged Duran. I challenged Leonard. I challenged Hearns. All these guys, I've challenged them. So why should I have to hang around and wait for them to build their courage or whatever, or wait for me to lose or to look bad in front of my public and my fans, in order to get them to come out? That's what they're waiting for. They're also waiting for me to grow gray hair. You know?
Well, I think you licked that problem, Marvin, very well. But I also think that tomorrow morning, when you sit down and think about it, and after this short night's work, that you'll look ahead to some other fights.
Yeah, I felt that way all the way through the training and everything, and I tried to put it out of my mind to go on and succeed in this victory, because I wanted it very bad, and I wanted a good showing if I was going to do that. And again, I'm going to talk with my family, my wife and my kids, and see what we decide.
Thank you very much, Marvin Hagler. And now back to Barry Tompkins at ringside. Okay.